Canelo.
So your goal was to go up and become undisputed in 3 different weight classes.
There you go.
Wow.
Something that never been done before.
Right.
And from 147 to 168, and to win, and become undisputed. Wow. What can they say? What can they say?
Terence "Bud" Crawford just delivered one of the best performances of his career, arguably in his toughest fight yet, moving up 2 weight divisions to defeat Canelo Álvarez. And I'll be the first to admit, guys, I thought the weight jump might be too much for Crawford. Many great fighters in the past have fallen short when moving up. However, I always knew Bud had the skills to do it. I just didn't know how he was going to handle the power and the aggression come fight night. Well, Bud and his team execute the game plan perfectly in what is truly a career-defining win. In terms of the fight itself, from the very first round, when he landed a double jab followed by that rear left hook that caught Canelo, that's when I felt Crawford wasn't here just to survive. He was going to take his chances in this fight. If you guys watched my tactical overview before this, you would have heard me talk about his need to throw combinations. And that's exactly what Crawford did in this fight. When he let his hands go, he forced Álvarez to reset, and the speed difference between the two was massive in my opinion. Crawford's punches came in quick, snappy bursts. Canelo was still relying on those single powerful shots behind his feints. But what impressed me most about Crawford in this fight is how he combined his offense and defense. He never lingered in front of Canelo for too long, always pivoting out to his right or turning after exchanges so Canelo couldn't get off his counters, or even just framing with his forearm to stop him from attacking. While I feel Bomac and the team clearly studied how Canelo tries to set up the right hand behind the double jab. And time again throughout the fight, Bud punished him, catching him out before he threw the right hand, or in round 9, he just took that step back, while parrying the right hand, taking the sting out the punch, before immediately looking to start a combination against him, especially as Canelo was in a vulnerable position from squaring up, and before the end of the fight was able to slip the right hand to his left, before returning with a massive left hand. Crawford's southpaw lead hand also gave him control of the distance and range, which helped create a barrier that Canelo struggled to get past. When Canelo did find openings, he would occasionally land the lead straight right, as Crawford extended his lead hand. But it was also Bud's lateral footwork or quick half steps back that shut down any momentum for the most part. Even the body shots from Canelo were pretty much neutralised, as Crawford's timing with his elbows to block the punches reduced the damage, while he would also look to counter when Canelo threw this.
You feel like you had to dig deep in this fight, or do you feel like Canelo, you just kind of took the fight out of him early and he wasn't able to be as competitive as he wanted to be?
No, I think, he was trying to be competitive, but he respect my power, and he respect my boxing ability and things like that. And I think what was frustrating him the most is, all his big shots, I was blocking and, catching and countering. So I think that was really, a big factor in why he was frustrated.
Now in terms of my scorecard, I had it actually 116-112 for Crawford. But watching it back again, I was probably a little bit too generous in a few of the swing rounds for Canelo. In actual fact, I feel Crawford blocked and parried and deflected far more than it actually looked live. And the stats were there to back it up too. As always, I always look at the stats after the fights just to kind of compare my scorecard to the numbers. But it was probably the Jabber AI stats that made me realise how dominant Crawford was in this fight. And I actually think it was Crawford's combinations and the higher output that told the story of the fight, and ultimately why he deserved to win. Meanwhile, Canelo just relied on landing that one big right hand, and also just seemed hesitant to open up at times. But I generally think that was just because of Crawford's hand speed and sharp counters, and you just need to look at him post-fight, as he was pretty marked up by Crawford. In terms of Canelo, I think the signs of decline have been there for a few years now. He's been a professional boxer since 15. Fighting at championship levels since 2011 pretty much. The wear and tear is starting to show. And when you put this against Crawford's style of high output, the southpaw jab and slick defense, it was always going to be a nightmare matchup at this stage in hindsight. Even Canelo admitted afterward his body just wouldn't do what he wanted.
You know what, sometimes you try and your body cannot go, right? That's my frustration. Maybe I can figure out Crawford, but my body cannot go anymore. So I try it, but my body just not let me go. And you need to accept it. That's it.
We also saw the frustration in his body language as we got into the tail end of the fight. Interestingly, Canelo even said Crawford deserved the win, and even said he was better than Mayweather.
Can you describe what it was like for you fighting Bud, what he was doing that was giving you the kind of problems that you couldn't really do enough to get what would have been, I guess, a close decision?
We already know, we knew Crawford is a great fighter, and I did what I supposed to do, right? I tried for every way, and I trained really hard, and he deserved all the credit. No, I try my best tonight, and I just cannot figure out the style.
And lastly, for me, champ, in the world of comparisons that we live in right now, if you can compare and contrast the fight between yourself and Floyd Mayweather Jr. and tonight's bout with Terence "Bud" Crawford, if you can.
No, I think Crawford is way better than Floyd Mayweather.
But of course, that is debatable. Floyd beat a younger, fresher Canelo, but less experienced, while Crawford beat the more experienced version, who is maybe now at the tail end of his career. But it's still interesting nonetheless. But I'd love to hear what you guys think in the comments below about that. As for what's next, I'm not too sure. Maybe a rematch if Bud chooses to fight on, or Canelo could still go after that Benavidez fight if he wanted one last big payday. He will remain a big draw regardless, but it's very clear he's past his peak now. For Crawford though, this is a crowning moment. Honestly, it's the first time I've actually picked against him since his fight with Ricky Burns, and he proved me wrong in the best way. The thing is, Bud isn't getting any younger either. He'll be turning 38 this year, and maybe retiring on top is the best way to go. If he does keep fighting, personally, I'd like to see the Boots Ennis fight. Or he could try and move down to 160 pounds and try to become a 6-weight world champion. But whatever he chooses, Crawford has cemented his greatness with this win in my opinion, and no one can take that away from him. This has been Jamie from Boxing Life. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the fight. How did you score it? And what would you like to see happen for both men going forward? Make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed, and as always guys, I'll see you in the next one.
Max Kellerman called you the GOAT of this era in the post-fight. After everything you've been through, man, what was like hearing those words?
Hey, listen, like I said, the great things come to those who wait. You know, the cream always rise to the top. All the time that they blocked me out, they said I wasn't fighting nobody, I can't beat this dude, I can't beat that dude. Every time that I got a chance, I wiped the floor with him. So just imagine where I would have been at today if I had got them opportunities a long time ago. But then again, it wasn't my time. My time is now, and I'm happy that everything played out the way it did, and you're looking at the undisputed champion of the world right now.